Hi there, friends. This is Chris with Peace of Mind Art and Crafts, and welcome to my channel. I have selected a winner for the giveaway. That was all through the month of February to celebrate my 1-year anniversary on YouTube. And the first place winner was Laura M. And the second place winner was Lynn Castile Butler. And let's see, Laura was from Maine, I believe, and Lynn is from Oregon. So on both coasts, I've got somebody. So that was kind of fun, selecting the winners, and they will receive their prize in the mail. I have contacted them both, and they both sent me their information so I can send them the journals that they won. But thank you all for entering. That was a lot of fun, and it gave me a chance to know what kind of journals that all of you like. I will be putting some of the remaining journals on Etsy. If you want to take a look in the next few days, I should have those up. So once again, thanks so much for your support. Today I'm going to show you, I'm going to kind of do a snippet roll using fabric as the base and then paper and fabrics on top of it. Generally I go in a horizontal way across this way so that I can cut up and use for snippets or pockets. This time I'm going to go vertical so that I can use for belly bands or for instance maybe the side of the page. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use mostly school glue, or not school glue, but that just happens to be this brand, Elmer's, and I'm going to use a glue stick to tack them down, because I'm going to then sew down through probably 3 rows down through the middle. If you're not sewing, then you might want to use a more permanent glue like the art glitter glue or a tacky glue. So it's probably best to use this type of glue if you're going to sew, because then that way you can sew over and that will adhere your elements down to the piece of fabric. So that's kind of why I'm using the glue stick. Okay, let me show you first some snippets from one that I did, so you can kind of see what they're like after I made them and cut them out. These were made on a strip of muslin, a little bit smaller than this one that I have. Not quite as wide. You can select how you want to do them, doesn't matter. You'll see where this, when I finished, this is kind of flapping a little bit. I can go back and put down some art glitter glue on there to tack it down better after I have it sewn. Also, after you have it sewn, you can go back in and put down maybe some other elements like buttons or charms or things that are three-dimensional that you might want on there. So these are ones that have been cut apart. I'm going to use them for embellishments on the sides. And I'll show you some other strips that I cut from and some other embellishments that I made. These have either been made singly or on a strip. And I'll point that out. Let's see, this. I have a bag that I keep them in my ephemera box so I can use them. These were made on separate pieces of paper, and these were not sewn. These 3 here were not sewn, or 4. They were just glued, but I made them on paper, and I built them up, and so that's a way of doing snippets also. I have some here that I did on tape. I have a video where I did a snippet roll on a long piece of tape. The tape I used was very lightweight tape, and it was not real sticky, and so it went through my machine very, very easily. These, however, I knew would not go through the machine. They were way too tacky. This is more like a duct tape that I put these on, and it makes it great because you can stick the stuff right down to the tape. But the thing about it is you cannot sew it because it will wreck your machine needle. So these were done on the strip and just simply adhered to that. And you can refer to that other video that I did with the ones that were on the lightweight tape. And the lightweight tape I was able to sew on. Okay, so let's look at these once again. You'll see that they have 3 strips, or excuse me, 3 rows of sewing down the edge there, and you can do that for any kind of stitch or however you want to do it. You can do 2 rows or 1 row. You can do it going across this way. However you plan on doing it. Let's get started, and I'll show you. What I did was I started out with a 3-inch wide piece of muslin, and I had 2 pieces that I connected. I just glued them together. You can sew them together also, and I just glued them together. And when I get to the end of this, if I want to attach another piece on there, then I just keep on going. But this measures 42 inches. This is a good size for if I wanted to, if I was making this with more fabrics, and because it would make it more flexible if I made it with fabrics than if I made it with paper, and wanted to tie it around a book. This would work for that. Or you can use them to save it and cut it up to fit the edge of a page. Okay, like I said, I'm going to do this kind of in a vertical way. And I just save scraps and so on in my little boxes that I have. I save these soap boxes that soap came in. So I have a variety of those with little scraps of paper, fabric, lace, whatever. This is actually, this little heart paper came from a wrapper that went around soap. Let's go ahead and put that down. That smells good. It smells like, I think it was pomegranate soap. So I can either put the glue onto the piece that I'm going to stick down, or I can put it right on to the muslin. I can go over the side. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to go not have everything be straight on. Some things can be turned. Some things can overlap. Kind of a cool one. Put that one on there. You can work on one area and move down. Whatever works for you. I see that this part right here is kind of bugging me. I don't like that partial hole there, so I'm just going to clip that off. This is okay for me, even though it hangs over the edge. If I want to later on, I can clip that off. Here's a piece of burlap. I think I'll glue that down. Kind of had a fold in it, so get that out. Just any kind of little pieces will do. You can use big pieces, little snippet pieces. anything that works. Whoops, it's upside down, I think. Yeah. And as you go, you can overlap, add things in. If you want to stick to a certain color scheme, that'd work also. You can use ribbons. Let's see, do I like that? I like it, but maybe not quite so much of it. So we snip off a piece. And I may or may not be using this on the same page. I may be cutting it up. So it doesn't really matter where I put things. Right now I'm concentrating on mostly flat items, and then after I sew it, then I will put on some bigger buttons or charms or whatever. So then that way I won't be tempted to sew through that or anything. You can use teeny tiny pieces like these. These are little pieces of origami paper that I saved. You can use pieces, like I said, pieces of fabric. My husband and I have been watching The Crown. I've always wanted to see it, and we didn't have Netflix. So what we did was we ordered it from Netflix, and they send you a DVD. And on that DVD, they have like the first 2 or 3 episodes of a season. Like you start with season 1. And then when you finish, then you send it back to them, and then they send you the next video of the next episodes. So we're doing it that way, and it's really fun because that once a week they end up sending us one. You have to send it back in order to get the next one. But it's really fun. I'm really enjoying that series. I suppose a lot of you have already watched it. Like that. Okay, I'm gonna switch boxes. What I do to make these boxes is I just as I craft and make my journals and other things, is I just throw pieces in here of fabric and so on, then I like this that I have left over. Clip that off a bit. And see, I can also use that. Put it on this direction. This was kind of a fabric that I had that had young girls that had kind of a Victorian look to them and had roses. They kind of looked like those old porcelain dolls. Let's see what else. Another thing you can do is you can kind of bring back some of maybe the same fabrics that you have in one place and bring it back again. I don't like that. I have to wait for a small piece to fit there. There's a piece of paper that has some wording on it. Make sure you mix larger and smaller pieces together. And if you want to stick to the same color choices, like say you want to make one all in neutral colors, you can do that, or make one all in pinks, or for various journals that you might be doing. One that has, maybe if you're doing a gardening journal, you can do one that has a lot of flowers on it, that type of thing. Or you can just kind of do it at random, like I tend to do, and just use it for whatever journals come up. Okay, we'll just continue on this a little ways yet, and then we'll stop for today. I found some old wrapping paper that I had that was actually done in like a crazy quilt design. So it's paper, but it's actually got all kinds of embroidery designs on it. So that was kind of a neat find. Excuse me. Okay, I'll repeat this. I think I'll repeat this one up here. I hope you're all doing well. I think it's helped our morale with all knowing about that the vaccines are available. So I hope all of you can get yours when it's your turn, if you want it. Okay, let's put this down here. Okay, moving along here. Let's see. I'll use some music paper. Tear this a little bit. Oh. Oh, here's a star stamp. And like I said, don't forget that after you do sew this down, and then you can go back and clip the edges off the side, or if there's certain areas that stick up after the sewing, and the sewing didn't cover it and it still sticks up, then just use a little bit of your art glitter glue to glue it down. Or you might even like the look of it, not being all attached and kind of sticking up a little bit on the pages. I'll try to get this one done and show it to you in the next video. My next video is going to cover some slow stitch hearts and also some other embellishments made with fabric and buttons. So this is pretty. Some overlapping. Here's a piece of silver fabric. Like that. This will definitely need extra glue if you were just gluing, but since I'm gonna be sewing, I'm gonna wait until I get that sewed down. That's just the end of a little fabric ruffle that I had left over, so I threw it in my box. Some lace, so you can put the lace like over the top of things. And I would just keep going until I filled in all the areas. And you can continue on down and then go back in at the end and before you sew it and put more paper or fabric on there. Then sew it. Then add your little details like buttons and so on. Let's see if I have one that's no, I don't have any left of I've used all the ones I have. I have a lot of slow stitch snippet rolls that I've shown you already, but I don't have any of these kinds because I've used them all. Okay, so you can use this on the side of a page in a book. You can use it to cut up into snippets to use for pockets or embellishments on a page. The sky's the limit. Thanks for joining me today. I wish you all peace of mind. Bye now.